Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara. I make content about holistic self-love. Today I want to talk about alternative relationships because that is the topic of my latest episode on the Orgasmic Lifestyle podcast. If you like my voice, many people on here actually watch my videos just for my voice, then check out my podcast. It's in the top 5% podcasts in the world, which I'm super thrilled about. And I talk about how to reach a climax in all areas of life. So we talk about things like sexuality, relationships, spirituality, nutrition, health, wellness, personal development, and all of those good things. All of the topics that I am personally very interested in. So the topic of relationships is very interesting to me. I think it's an area that we are not taught enough about. I mean, people complain about the lack of sex education, but the lack of love education is much more serious. Anyway, and there's so many dynamics to uncover in relationships as well, especially related to communication and also how you define your relationship, because the word relationship can mean different things to different people, and it's really important to know that you are on the same page as your partner or partners. So alternative relationships, well, when we talk about alternative relationships, we are talking about things like ethical non-monogamy, polyamory, thruples, and all these different types of relationships that go beyond the monogamous relationship. And I speak to an expert, Cyndi Darnell. She's a relationship and sex therapist. We take a deep dive into this topic. And it made me think a lot about alternative relationships. And I think one of the challenges that people have is, on everyone, whatever type of relationship you are looking for, is the lack of good role models. I know for me, when I speak with my friends about relationships in general, when I'm speaking with single people, they all kind of feel like they are missing or craving some kind of connection, but they're not finding it. And also the couples that they see around them are definitely not role models for healthy relationships. It's kind of like, oh my God. And they kind of help, how would I say, kind of glad that they're not in those types of dynamics. So I think it's really important to, in life in general, it's good to have good role models and people who show you what's possible. Always remembering that relationships are never plain sailing. There's always some kind of conflict. And I think I saw in a video that the Gottmans, who are a couple of very well-known relationship therapists, I think they said that the key to longevity of a relationship is how you overcome conflict. And conflict is a really big opportunity to actually polish and fine-tune your communication skills. So going beyond superficial kind of conflicts and things that can go wrong, there are many deeper things that can be uninspirational. Is that even a word? Where sometimes when you see that person's not letting you be the full expression of who you are, and issues that go on for a very, very long time. I know for me in the past, a very long time ago, something that really helped me was journaling before I even knew anything about journaling, to be honest. I used to always keep note of my thoughts and feelings and events in my life. And one day I was going through all of my old journals, and I started to read one from a year before, and I was thinking, oh my God, this issue with this partner I've been feeling for a year and it hasn't got better. So I think it's always good to kind of keep note of your feelings, your challenges, and so kind of have an idea of how long this unhappiness is lasting for, if you are thinking about leaving a relationship especially. And also, I think another big challenge for relationships, especially alternative relationships, is also the lack of role models. I think many people, I think the lack of role models means that you don't really know how to create your own system, your own rules and your own needs and things like that. I think that can be very challenging. Also, I think in this society, a lot of people who are in these alternative dynamics, they're not always public about it because they don't want to be judged by people who are not going to understand. So that can be challenging as well. For me personally, I'm not really interested personally in alternative relationships, but I'm very interested in discovering how people manage the dynamics of jealousy, of time, of logistics. It just seems really fascinating to me. And also I do admire how often these couples, these types of relationships, they have much better communication and boundaries skills than a lot of people who are more in the vanilla world. That's my impression anyway. I'm always attracted to documentaries about thruples and polyamory and things like that. I'm just super curious. Sometimes I've seen a lot of documentaries where there's one person who's more into it than another, but it's equally, it's just very interesting anyway. Yeah, so that is the latest episode of the Orgasmic Lifestyle Podcast. What about you? Would you like to be in an alternative relationship? Do you have any relationship models that you think are inspirational? I would love to hear about that in the comments below. But before I go, I want to say that something that's quite common here in Spain, I think polyamory is quite common here in Barcelona, but there's a lot of don't ask, don't tell polyamory, where sometimes the lines of consent are a little bit blurred. For example, sometimes you are in a relationship and your partner's not letting you know that they're actually sleeping with other people, and they're not really letting you know. And that's a very, that for me is a very serious violation of consent. Because also you are putting your partner at great risk for health reasons, emotional reasons, and also in a lot of cities such as Barcelona, worlds are very small, so sometimes people can know each other. Who is calling? I hate it when these random numbers they don't even know start calling, interrupting my video. Terrible. And it's going to stop ringing in a minute because it's not even a real number. Yeah, so that is my video for today. So check out the Orgasmic Lifestyle Podcast, where every day is a climax. I'm going to leave a link in the description below to this episode about alternative relationships, and if you are interested in this topic, please share your views in the comments below. Also in the comments below you will see some links to some of my services for one-on-one coaching, for my life upgrade meditation, which is free, my Substack, and yeah, many more things. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and see you soon. Mwah.